Hey everybody, Nerd Transformed here again, and today I am kind of doing my send-off to Titans Return. The Power to Primes figures are starting to make their way into retailers. Some people have already gotten the first wave of deluxes. Titans Return is on its way out, and I don't have all the Legends figures or the deluxes, and definitely not the later classes, but I do actually have most of the Voyagers. I do have at least one mold of each Voyager, and I have messed around with a few others I no longer own. So, to send off the Titans Return, I thought it'd be nice to do a nice little top 5 best Titans Return Voyager figures. This isn't like the definitive, this isn't the end-all be-all best Voyagers, this isn't like, I'll fight you on the streets. This is just a fun little way to say goodbye to the line that has been a great continuation of Combiner Wars in the Thrilling 30 lines. So overall, I do think Titans Return was a great line. I think we got a lot of cool characters out of this. I'm glad we finally got some triple changers out of this. And this is just meant to be a fun little send-off. First off, don't expect a lot of Autobots, as most of the Autobots were just remolds of better Decepticon counterparts. And for another thing, there will be a lot of the remolds will be a lot on the same list. Like, say if I have AstroTrain on the list, Sentinel Prime can still also be on the list. So there will be multiples of the same mold on the list, so just expect that. Anyway, so this is my top 5 Titans Return Voyagers. And at the number 5 spot, I'm going to give it to Broadside here. Now, Broadside, as everybody's seen them, has quite a few issues. I think his aircraft carrier mode is fantastic. And I think his robot mode is pretty decent. His jet mode is pretty bad, I'll be honest. Even with some modifications and moving parts around, it's not a good jet mode. But everything else he does is just so nice. His aircraft carrier mode is really nice, and it's what was the Alpha Trial mode was meant to be. Alpha Trial, I'll go ahead and say now, is not on the list, because while he does have a much better wolf mode compared to his jet mode, I don't think the mold works as well as it should for Alpha Trion, despite him having a really nice looking robot mode. So Broadside here just wins for me just because of all the things I mentioned. Really nice vehicle mode, really nice robot mode here, I think. Plus the inclusion of the little tiny aerial bots just kind of sweetens the deal very much. Only thing I would really complain about is I wish he had gotten a better weapon, especially with how big and hollow it is. But I feel like I'm kind of nitpicking. I do like he actually has the toy accurate head because I think it looks a lot better than the cartoon head. I mean, he's got good articulation. He's got a really cool look and really nice bulkiness to him. So overall, I do think he's a good figure and very good figure and very deserving of the number 5 spot. At number 4, I'm going to have to give it to Achtung. Now, this is a vast improvement, in my opinion, over the Universe Tankor figure, I believe it was, the Deluxe class. Because that figure, oh boy, that truck mode. Ugh, the plane mode on that one was alright, but the truck mode was just god-awful. This one, each mode, I think, has some problems, but I feel like it's a lot more balanced compared to that figure. The robot mode here is really nice. My only real complaint with this robot mode is just the wings I wish could, like, peg in a little bit better. The tabs don't quite hold right. I wish his hips were a little less loose, and he is like slightly shorter than most of the other Voyagers. But I love that his weapons come with, even with the hollowed out one for the whole Titan Master gimmick, is still pretty nice looking. And he still has his like G1 style gun right here. His hips might be a little odd, but I think he does have a very nice overall robot mode, especially with the head sculpt. The truck mode is also very nice, with the only real kibble on it being the wingtips barely sticking out the back. Plus, I like how you can actually have the Titan Master fit in without having to go into the cab. The jet mode's probably his weakest of his 3 modes, but I do still like it. I still think it's a very strong mode, even if it's not perfect. It's the only real problem is just the truck kibble sticking off of it, so I still think it's a very strong mode, and I think it makes him a strong contender on this list. You will not see the Optimus Prime remold for this figure just because I don't really think that figure works for Optimus Prime except for maybe Laser Prime or Scourge from RAD. I hate that everything that's like a truck just gets repainted in Optimus Prime, really. But yeah, Achtung is definitely very deserving on this list. And now that I just bashed the Optimus mold, number 3 on the list, Megatron. Now, I know a lot of people don't really like this. They think it works only best for Blitzwing, and I can understand that, but I think he still works really, really well for a Megatron. For one thing, we do have like the G1 style chest plate here with the big wide flat surface. It even has like the IDW chest hairs going on. You get some red and orange and white right there. You get all the black right in there. I have the full review of this mold, and I like that his little head extenders are actually a different mold from what Blitzwing have, which is pretty nice. I thought these were just going to be reused for Blitzwing, kind of like how Silver Prime was, but they're actually unique to him. Same with his cannon even. I like that they actually molded a different gun just for him to make him look more like Megatron. And even as far as the wing kibble goes, it does limit the articulation, but you can fold up the tank and wing kibble in just the right way to where you don't even notice it. Granted, it sticks down that far and gets away the leg articulation, but if you're just standing on the shelf like I am, that makes a really, really good chug-style Megatron, which I've been begging for. We have not had a really good chug-style Megatron almost ever. I know there's the Combiner Wars one, but I don't want a Leader class Megatron. I want a Voyager class to fit and scale with all my other figures a lot better. And this is honestly the best one we've ever gotten outside of maybe third party. So while he's not the best, I do think it's a very inspired mold, and plus Megatron has been a tank and a jet before, so it's not like this is just out of left field. So that's Megatron, number 3 on my list. Number 2 has to go to one of our first remolds, AstroTrain. Now we did get the Sentinel Prime first with this mold, and while I do think Sentinel Prime's a decent figure, we all knew who this was going to be. This was going to be AstroTrain, and we were so excited for it. And honestly, the only thing holding him back for me is maybe his color scheme. I wish we had gotten a similar color scheme to the Takara version. But then again, I grew up with the classics AstroTrain, so I'm kind of used to this color scheme. It's almost nostalgic for me, and it still looks like AstroTrain to me. That head sculpt screams AstroTrain. The weapons, the vehicle modes, they all just shout AstroTrain, and at least the sculpt is still G1 accurate. And I really like that, unlike a lot of his Titans Return counterparts, he barely has any kibble. He has the wings, and even that's just accurate to how he looked. Literally, the only kibble he really has, I wish these little train bits could fold up into the legs since they're all hollow anyway. But other than that, he really is very, very kibble-free. His proportions are pretty decent, and I like his head extenders are actually accurate to the original cartoon model. His original cartoon model actually did have these little pillars sticking up. I like little guns on the arms, I like all the little details that got painted all over this figure. Just all these little shapes and such stick out a lot more than they did on the Sentinel Prime version just because they've actually been painted in separately. Especially like right here on the chest and the legs, just everything was just nicely done to kind of give him a different look. They even got down to the stripe on his little helmet here. Now, this one does feel a little bit limited compared to some of the other figures we've gotten recently, but still, I think he is a wonderful figure. And I still think he's probably our definitive AstroTrain, especially for a Voyager class. Maybe, I'll admit some people are going to prefer the Legends figure, who has the more cartoon-accurate color scheme, but this one, this is still plenty enough for me. So number 2 goes to AstroTrain. And now before we get to number 1, I do want to do a few honorable mentions. There was, of course, Titans Return Galvatron, who, well, I did like him, he just has a few too many issues in every mode. His cannon mode is cool, but it's just so hindered down by the spaceship kibble. The spaceship mode just has nothing to do with Galvatron, doesn't really look that good in the first place. And the robot mode is fine, except for the head. I wish they had done better on that head. Especially since this was our first wave of Titans Return and really going to show us what the line could do. So, yeah. Also going to shout out the Alpha Trion here, who was a really decent figure. But like I mentioned before, I don't think he quite worked the best for Alpha Trion. He felt like a young Alpha Trion, which if you're into that, cool. I'm looking for an old school, way older Alpha Trion. He needs to have the long beard and everything, so that figure didn't quite work for me. Then, of course, there was also Sentinel Prime, which is a pretty nice figure. But I couldn't bump down AstroTrain. I couldn't really bump off Broadside just for that figure. So, those are my honorable mentions. Number 1 is, of course, going to go to Blitzwing. This mold, the moment we saw it with Megatron, just screamed Blitzwing. And yes, we did get a Blitzwing with Thrilling 30, but that figure was a bit of a mess. Almost the same amount of mess that Titans Return Galvatron is now. Actually, I would say it's probably more of a mess, because at least Titans Return Galvatron's shoulders hold together. But yeah, this is the Blitzwing we wanted. Sure, he still has the Headmaster gimmick, but at least this is a very solid Blitzwing who does not feel hindered by his gimmicks. He's very much G1 style. This guy, if bumped up to a bigger size, could almost work for a Masterpiece Blitzwing. Not perfectly, but he almost works for Masterpiece Blitzwing. He was a bit bigger and had a few other changes. I love, love, love the head sculpt on this figure. This is just, there's no mistaking that as anything other than G1 Blitzwing. I love that his little dualies, like I mentioned with Megatron, are actually different molded. Plus, I love he actually has his sword. He had the 330 version also came with his sword, but I was expecting to get another Megatron cannon. But we actually got 3 weapons, as the tank turret up here also still separates out. And we still got his sword. That was just, if you're going to have Blitzwing, you have to have his sword, is all I gotta say. And he even has all the remolded chest detail. Everything about this figure just screams his G1 character, and it's all just a beautiful, makes for a beautiful, beautiful looking Voyager. This, I feel, is the pinnacle of the Titans Return line. Him and, like, Six Shot. Both are very, very amazing Decepticons, and while we have gotten some good Autobots, the Decepticons definitely dominated the Titans Return line, and this is what I feel like is at the very top as the king of the Titans Return line. Number 1 going to Blitzwing. So, this has been Nerd Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this little send-off to Titans Return, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.